Phil here, Wings of Pegasus, and I had a little bit of spare time, so I thought I'd whip down an acoustic version of a track called Amelia, which will be on the album once it comes out. Now I've decided to sit on the squeakiest chair ever. Hopefully that won't affect it too much. Now the idea that I've got in my head is to play along like a version now, and then play along to that version afterwards, and then hopefully sort of sync it up somehow. But it should work. In my head, I think it's going to be fine. So let's see. Imagine if I told you all the things that I never took the time to tell. Even if I told you, you wouldn't understand that you and I is lost forever. Under all this emptiness, each time I try to get inside, you're on my own, no time for talking. Amelia, Amelia, how could you leave me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, Amelia, there's nothing more left to say. It's time to go our separate ways. They say that time is a healer. I don't believe what they say. I'm broken anyway. Ever since we parted, all this pain has started. It's never ending. Under all this emptiness, each time I try to get inside, you're on my own, no time for talking. Amelia, Amelia, how could you lead me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, Amelia, there's nothing more left to say. It's time to go our separate ways. Don't tell me you love me when you're sorry. It's not enough. Ooh, no. Only this time I woke and broke and free. Amelia, Amelia, how could you lead me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, Amelia, there's nothing more left to say. It's time to go our separate ways. Amelia, Amelia, how could you lead me on this way? I knew I should have stayed away. Amelia, 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 Amelia. And there we have it. Welcome to another live stream Tuesday. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. And thinking about that Amelia video, that has got to be over 10 years old now, I do believe. I was just thinking about it before coming on screen here, because I couldn't remember. All I could see was the old style of t-shirt, and then I realised, oh, hang on. Yeah, that was like over 10 years ago. So anyway, time flies when you are having fun, and I'm sure that the live stream will fly as it normally does because time just disappears. But interesting fact, just before I went live, I lost the sound. Everything just seemed to disappear, which was a little bit annoying, but I think I have the sound back now. Hopefully it's not kind of repeating and causing an echo. I've just turned it down just in case it was. But hello, thank you guys for joining me. Let's see who's in the live chat room tonight. And we have Tammy and Carter and Billy and Laurie and Jennifer, Bonnie, Carla moderating in there as well, Irma, Jimmy, and it's just jumped up a little bit. So you might be able to see actually at the top of the live chat room the vote that we've got going on at the moment for the cover that we're going to be having a listen to later on in the show. And I'm not sure why this is interesting, because the software is showing the live chat room on screen, but it's actually showing that the screen catcher is in the wrong place. Let me see if I can move this to see what happens to the screen. Okay, right, so now it's disappeared. Let me move this over here and move that over there and see what happens. And that's bad. So let's move that back up and that back up. Okay, and maybe a tiny bit down. Just like that. That's probably going to be okay. Right, so now I can see everything on screen. Yeah, it's weird that the live chat room was showing up even though it shouldn't have been showing up. But hopefully you can hear me, you can see me, and everything is fine with the live stream so far. Now, having just gone through that, it might be the case that all of the screen catcher things have disappeared and moved into the wrong place, which I might have to address while I'm talking to you guys here live. So let's see what we can do. We can get the patrons banner up on screen, hopefully. And I'm going to wait to see if it says sponsored by, because if it does, then it's going to be doing it in the right order. If it doesn't, then it won't. But here it comes. So sponsored by the Wings of Pegasus patrons. Massive shout out to these lovely people at the bottom of the screen, because they make not only this live stream possible, but every single video that I do on the channel. And I always say it is the foundation of everything that I do. If I wasn't here on YouTube, I would be over on Patreon. So a massive thank you to you guys. You know who you are. And they do pop up in the PayPal window and the Super Chat window as well. I always say that you don't have to donate. Just joining me on the channel is great. So thank you guys for that, for liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, all of that cool stuff. But if you can't resist donating, you don't have to, but if you can't help yourselves, then there's a donations tab on the screen now, which just gives you the percentages that 35 to 45% goes to YouTube through the Super Chat window, and on PayPal between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal. So those are the splits, and you can find the PayPal link in the description below if you want to do things that way. Right, we have got most of the things up on screen, I think. Let me see if I can get the likes goal. There it is. 325 is what we are aiming for tonight in order to have a pick roulette next week. We are going to be having one at the end of tonight's live stream, so stay tuned for that. But let's see. Actually, I'm not sure whether this is going to work or not. And sure enough, I've just clicked on a button that's shown me that I know it's not going to work to show the likes when I click on the button. So I've adjusted it just freehand. We're going to get it on screen and see what happens. And that's not particularly good, because the box behind it is too big. Uh-oh, this is going a little bit wrong. Oh, that worked. So it's that's going to have to do for tonight. So just dragging the box horizontally made it smaller. So the likes, 163 is where we are at the moment. So thank you everyone for hitting that thumbs up. If you could leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be massively appreciated. It really helps this live stream to get out there, but for the channel to grow on the whole. So let me actually see if I can get the background up on screen. I'm just kind of testing everything to see if it works. And the reason that I've got the background up on screen is because I want to show you guys a picture, even though actually this is going to go full screen. So anyway, I now have the dual screen set up, which is something that I've been trying to organize since I got my computer last Thursday. And as you guys know from the last live stream, I've been setting everything up and yeah, just getting all the software updated, doing as much as I can with it. And now today was the final day when I received all of the adapters that I need in order to have the external hard drives going and the monitor setup that I used to have as well. And I managed to actually get the monitors up and running yesterday. So this was just a picture that I took and uploaded over on Patreon, because the people over on Patreon have already seen this from yesterday. But if you guys want to get involved over on Patreon yourselves, then you can do. The site is patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, and it is there if you need it, if you want to head over there. And that's where I am. I mean, every night I check the messages over there, because you can message me directly, and I give updates when I'm not doing videos, which are on Mondays and Thursdays when I have admin days, and when I have just days to go and post CDs, because that's something else that I do everything myself. So the CD orders are dealt with on Mondays and Thursdays from my website. Interesting story that today, unfortunately, the charger, I've got an electric car, the charger for my electric car just wasn't working. So, bit of a pain, and it's not one of these hybrid cars, it just totally relies on electricity. So if you can't charge it up, it means that you can't go anywhere. So fortunately, I did have just enough in order to get my CD orders up to date and on their way to the post office, but yeah, I'm going to have to see what happens in the future. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's all going to work itself out. And yeah, I can actually charge the car in order to, I mean, I don't go long distances. This is what's good, is that I did have enough battery to at least get out and then come back. But I'm not doing miles and miles and miles every day, because I'm mostly just here answering emails and doing videos on YouTube, of course, live streaming, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, bit of a pain, and I'm just going to see whether it rights itself over the next day or two. Fingers crossed that it will, and it's just a blip. I'm hoping actually that it's not just the really bad infrastructure of electric car charging at the moment, where if there are too many people trying to charge their cars, then maybe the electricity isn't substantial enough for everybody to do it at the same time. So yeah, I will see. I'll try in some off-peak periods and see what happens. But anyway, let me address the donations that came in before we went live. This is something that I always do over on PayPal as well. We have a look at all of the donations, even between the live streams, because I do think it's important to give a shout out to everybody that allows this to happen in the first place. So we had an early donation that came through from Orlando, and this said, "Spike the likes, lots of thumbs up, your turn, Paul." And this is that was a $2 donation, so thank you for that, Orlando. And this is followed up by Paul with a donation of $2, so thank you for that, Paul. And the message is what Orlando said. Orlando's backup guy with a thumbs up, and the picture's a little bit too small, but from here it looks like maybe a guy with a hat on, or like maybe a cowboy hat on. So thank you for that, Paul. Jennifer donated $6 as well. Thank you for that, Jennifer. The message is, Phil, would you ever write music for or sing in a musical if approached for such a job? Take care. Love to Bev and Francis. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And I'm pretty sure somebody has asked this exact question in the past, and my answer was that yes, I wouldn't, rule out being in a musical, but obviously I can't do that at the moment, or I don't think it's something that I would be able to do in the future, just because of, musicals, sometimes you have 2 shows a day, and it's just a lifetime, thing. You've got to dedicate your life to, the rehearsals, and, maybe doing a performance in the middle of the day, and then maybe another performance in the evening, and then you go home, get some sleep, perform the next day, and it's just all in. So I think you've very much got to be set up in your life for that you're part of a musical, and you are just working for as long as that musical is on, at the West End, wherever it may be. So I would do it, or I would have done it, say for example before when I wasn't very busy. I think I was always focusing on music though, so it wasn't my focus, but had my life gone in that direction, then there's nothing in me that says, oh, I'm not going to do musicals because I don't like them, or I don't think they're cool, or any of those reasons. Musically, yes, I'm a big fan of musicals in general. Just the amount of ability that the singers and artists that perform, being able to do it, that regularly, but being so consistent vocally. And whenever you go to the West End, like here in London, you always just get top level ability vocally, and it's night after night after night. So I got massive respect for people that can do that, have their voices trained to that kind of level. And it certainly would be a challenge to balance off that vocal fatigue as well, in order to have that longevity to be able to do it. So anyway, thank you for that, Jennifer. And I think those are the donations that came in before we went live. So I'm just going to refresh the screen to make sure that those were all of those donations, and they were. So Ola A then donated $9.99. So thank you for that. And the message is, hey Phil, is there a personal story behind Amelia? Did you write it? And are you with writing from personal experience? I love it, and I find this style easier to connect with. Much love, with a big heart. So thank you for that, Ola. And yes, Amelia, all the songs on my album I wrote and recorded them at home as well in the studio, which you guys would have seen on the channel. In the background, that's the room with the green wall and the drum kit and the piano in the background. So I did it all in there with this microphone. And yes, in terms of personal experience, I think probably there's a bit of that in there from maybe kind of late teenage years, something like that, maybe around kind of college time. But I think everyone has that kind of song in them, or at least that kind of experience in them at that kind of age, because you're very much kind of getting used to the world and just seeing what relationships are all about and all that kind of stuff. And they don't tend to last for very long at those kind of ages, unless you just are very lucky to meet somebody who just is a really good match for you, personally, for the rest of your life. And that does happen, which is great. They have their first loves at school or college or whatever, and then it lasts a lifetime. But this was certainly I think inspired by those kinds of times. But I have mentioned before on the channel how with the songwriting, Griff, who's been here on the channel, we just put our heads together and, saw what we could come up with. And Amelia was one of those that I know I had the melody, and we had this idea of actually the chorus didn't have any lyrical content. It just had the melody and the kind of cadence as to how we kind of wanted it to sound. So we knew that we wanted a 4-syllable name. So Amelia is the one that we came up with. I was just checking, 4 syllables. So that's what we went for. So it wasn't actually about a particular person. It was more about a general idea and experience of, certainly from my younger years, but melodically we knew what we wanted to have in that chorus and the name that had to fit, because, it was a bit of a unique situation that having those amount of syllables in there were very few words that we could have used. There could have been Olivia, I suppose, but Amelia is what we went for. So anyway, thank you for that, Ola, and the donation. Right, there have been donations over on PayPal as well, which I've now got over to the left-hand side because we have the two screens going on. Just moving the microphone out the way because it was in the way a little bit. I have to just remember that because of now having the mic in its, I think, third position. Just trying to find a correct position. But like I said in the last live stream, now it's only obliterating one guitar, and we have 2 others, or at least the gem that we can look at in the background. So anyway, let me... Oh, now this is going to be a little bit rubbish because I know that the screen capture has been a little bit off. So I'm going to... Maybe I should try and sort this out before we even get it on screen to make sure that it's going to work. And that one, I think, is correct. So we can get that straight up on screen. And I'm going to remove it because these donations came in before we went live. So obviously there'll be other emails in between these. So first of all, let me have a little scroll down because it was Nicole who donated £12 and 12 pence. So thank you for that, Nicole. And the message is, it's not a question. Hi Phil, in London, my favourite town, lot of music, lot of rock, and especially Wings of Pegasus that charms our hearts, fondest Phil. So thank you for that, Nicole. And let me just scroll up because Tammy donated £6 as well. So thank you for that, Tammy. And just going to scroll down because the message is, hi Phil. Which musical instrument is harder to play or learn to play, a keyboard or a guitar? So thank you for that, Tammy. Now, talking from, my own personal experience of playing guitar and playing, keyboard or piano, for me, because I started on guitar, I find piano more difficult because I think learning to play guitar, and because I didn't start with any theory, I just picked up the guitar, started copying what I could hear. It means that everything that I started to learn was very much based on the guitar and the way that the guitar is organised. So when I then started playing piano, obviously it's a bit of a shift mentally to now try and turn everything from the guitar into these black and white keys. So yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle for me. So I would say that it's more difficult that way round. But I have said previously about learning to play, piano and keyboards. It differs from playing guitar because when you play the guitar, you can't just press on the string and then it works and then you just get the note and it's always in tune as well. You've got to actually tune the guitar. Generally your piano, if it's just a keyboard or a USB keyboard, it's going to be in tune unless you've got a piano that actually requires tuning. So yeah, piano, when you just press the key, it works. If you're playing a keyboard, if you've got it turned up, you'll hear it. So the technical aspect of actually getting a note from the instrument, it varies wildly to the guitar because guitar, you've got to press onto the fretboard, you've got to have enough pressure on that string with your finger, which means that you avoid getting any fret buzz, and you've got to then hold a pick in your right hand. You've then got to strike the string with your pick in order to get the string to resonate for the note to sound. So yeah, or vibrate, I should say. So yeah, to get the string to vibrate, to get the note to resonate, and to hear the sound, to get to that point, it takes a lot more kind of technique, and you have to do a lot more to get to that point. So that's the difference between the two. But I would say generally, if you just want to make a sound, piano is going to be a lot easier. If you're, I think, maybe looking to get down, maybe becoming more advanced at the instrument, I would say the guitar is easier because you're just effectively just remembering shapes on the fretboard. You can do that, and that's certainly what I did. I just kind of remembered where the notes were and just went to that, and then whichever notes you have, like on a piano, as you move up, on guitar, as you move up the fretboard, for example, every note you play is going to be relative to the key because you don't have to now change the shapes you're doing. Whereas on piano, there might be some, shapes where you're holding down, a sharp or a flat, a black key instead of the white keys. So it means that you've got to then understand where the sharps and the flats are. And if you don't play piano, all of the white keys are the letters and the black keys are the sharps and the flats. So you've got to hold down chords, actually changing the shape of your hand to make sure that you hold down the right keys. But in guitar, you can just literally hold your hand in a position and move it up the fretboard. And I know there's some people who say, well, yeah, you can do the same on piano, just fix your hand in a position and move it. But if you're on a white key and you need to hold down a black key, you have to move your finger up a little bit, or there's got to be some kind of adjustment and movement in your hand. You can't just hold a shape and do that all the way up. There generally has to be some kind of movement with that right hand if you're playing the chord with the right hand and the bass with the left. So yeah, that is it. That's what I would consider easier to do to advance more quickly on guitar, but if you're just looking to get a sound out of the instrument, then piano, just press a key and you can do that. But yeah, I'm not advanced on piano by any stretch of the imagination, and guitar, certainly that's what I started playing at the age of 11, so that's where all of my, I would say, expertise, and having taught guitar for over 20 years, I would say that's certainly my area of expertise and what I feel most comfortable with. So anyway, thank you, Tammy, for that donation. And just going to scroll up because Billy donated £5 as well. We might be able to get this on screen because I think this is a little bit more recent, at 10 to 8 earlier this evening. So thank you for this, Billy. And just going to scroll down because it is a straight up donation. And here we have another donation from Billy of £5. So thank you for that, Billy. And this time, scrolling down, we do get a message. And the message is, "Hello, Phil. It's Billy again. I forgot to mention in my last donation that it's Shawnee Key's birthday today. So happy birthday to Shawnee Key. Kim, also say happy birthday to Tracy Zimmerman too. Two very special honorees on this special day. So thank you for that, Billy. So everybody say a huge happy birthday to Kim and Tracy in that live chat room. And thank you, Billy, for bringing that to everybody's attention. So I hope you have a fantastic day, you two. And yeah, great to share a birthday on the same day. So yes, happy birthday. And, maybe you're watching this on catch up. If you are, then, I hope that you had a great day if you're watching it after your birthday. But by the way, if you are watching this on catch up, hello to you guys in the future. And yes, you can still hit that thumbs up. It all still counts. It all still really helps. But yeah, thank you for that heads up, Billy, and big happy exultations, if that's the right word, to Kim and Tracy in that live chat room. Right. We are going to be having a listen to a cover later on, and it's midnight already, but the cover videos for tonight, the vote is between Don't Stop Believing and Parisian Walkways. So if you want to hear either one of those, make sure you vote for it in the poll. It's going to be at the top of the live chat room. Just look out for that. It looks like at the moment Don't Stop Believing is at 60% of the vote, so it looks like we might be having a little listen to some classic Journey, or my version of a classic Journey tune, a little bit later on. So if you like Parisian Walkways, if you're a Gary Moore fan, then make sure that you vote for that at the top of that live chat room. Right, we also have pictures. We're going to be looking at a few of those later on. We have the pick roulette that's going to be coming your way, as well as the app roulette. And on Saturday, we had the triple wheel going on because we had a t-shirt roulette as well. So it was all kicking off on Saturday, and we do a live stream on Saturdays as well. So if this is your first live stream, hello to you. Introduce yourself into that live chat room, and you can join in on Saturdays as well. We live stream at 12 midnight British summer time. That is what you'll have to type into the Google search window. If you just go to Google, just type time in London, and you'll be able to know what time it is here, to then figure out what the time is where you are and what time you have to be watching live. And that is something I say about the roulette wheel. You have to be in it to win it. You have to be watching. Just a mention of the Facebook page, the Wings of Pegasus supporters Facebook page. You can join in over there if you are a Facebook user, and that's where, I think the pictures are uploaded too, and Vince links me to those. So Vince hosts the after party over there as well. So make sure that you head over there after these live streams to check out the after party, and now and again join in with a Zoom call that is hosted over there as well. So let's have a quick look into that likeometer window. 242 is where we are at the moment, and we're aiming for 325 in that top right hand corner of your screens, even though I point up to the left because it's all the other way around. But yeah, if you can give that thumbs up a click, that would be much appreciated. Maybe we can get a bit of a spike of the likes going on at 33 minutes past midnight here in the UK, and has it just gone over to 34? It's just gone over to 34. And how many seconds? It looks like it's 6 or 7 seconds. Right. I think you've got the time again. Yeah, in the top left-hand corner of the screen. Okay, we are going to try and keep organized. Let's go into that PayPal window again. And it looks like it might be up to date or it might not be up to date. Let me just click on this and have a quick look. It looks like we are up to date in the PayPal window. So that is good. Even though it's saying that, it's saying that there's 3 messages in that folder, but it's the PayPal folder that I use over there and it's not showing any. So I might need to do a refresh of that in order to get those, but I will grab all of the donations and mention all of them before the end of the live stream. So if you have donated, don't worry, I will get to it. But as I always say, you don't have to donate. Just having your company is good enough for me. Big shout out to the moderators, Susan and Dennis, going through there, who, recently won on the Moises app wheel. And you'll see the moderators going through. Their names in blue. You have Carla in there, Laurie and Neil as well. Thank you guys so much for your time and for doing such a great job throughout the live streams. Right. We are going to be, I can see that there has been another donation in the super chat window, so I will keep up to date with these. It is Jennifer who has donated $5. Thank you for that, Jennifer. And the message is, for your favourite guitar, which one? Telly or Les Paul or something different? So thank you for that question. And I mean, I would have to say a Fender Strat, Fender Stratocaster, because that's the guitar that I first saw when I really got into Jimi Hendrix. I just saw him playing a Fender Strat and then really wanted one. I think I was maybe a little bit biased because my dad had a white Fender Strat, so I just kind of always wanted one, but because of Jimi Hendrix as well. So that's what I would have to choose. But as for what I play most, generally because of the style of music that I'm into, being, hard rock and, melodic hard rock, maybe pop rock, all that kind of thing, generally with the heavier genres as soon as you start, not as start as you soon, but as soon as you start getting into hard rock, then you're probably going to start needing some humbuckers on your guitar to give you that aggressive lead guitar sound that you want, especially, opening up that distortion. So that's something that I did modify on my Fender Strat to have that dual blade, the twin blade Seymour Duncan pickup that I put in on there in the bridge position. So yeah, that's something that I changed about it, but I generally then for live use my Ibanez Geo, and in other videos, using the Gem as well. As you can see in, here you've got humbucker central, so you get a really aggressive tone if you want it, which is going to be a lot better for those heavier genres. But thank you for that, Jennifer. And I can see that another donation is just going through. So Bara7331 donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message was, what was your experience? Disappeared. What was your experience like on the X Factor UK back in 2013? Needs to be I can't even see what that says. Needs to be a fill tune. So a fill tune. Thank you for that. So yes, back in 2013, I went on, I went on the X Factor. I went along to an audition for the X Factor because I wanted to kind of prove a point. And I didn't even know if this would work when I first started queuing up. And I kind of questioned whether I was going to stay in line because it took ages and it was like freezing temperatures. But I thought, right, I'm just going to see it through. I wanted to go on the X Factor, or at least do an audition to see if you can get far in the competition, or at least as far as the TV stage without actually singing. So what I did is, and I do have, I think I've mentioned this before, I do have all of this on camera. So I took a Flip HD camera and I gave it to the producers. So what happens on these TV shows that you don't get to see on TV is that everyone queues up, like thousands of people at the first audition, and you perform for, I say you perform, I didn't perform, but you go in front of producers. And actually, no, it's like just workers to begin with. So, quite young, almost like, temp workers or something, I don't know, but work experience. But you go in front of those kind of people to begin with, and this is where a lot of people said that, they were told no by people who just looked like they were doing work experience. It's like, well, what do they know about, singing and talent? But anyway, so you sing in front of those kind of people to begin with, and generally it's like 2 of them. So after that, you have another audition, and that is to another set of people, maybe more kind of advanced or higher up the chain. The third audition is the producer audition, and if you get through that, then you get to go on the TV auditions. So by the TV audition, you've already done 3. Which means that you've had an audition, you go away, you come back for another audition, you go away, you come back for another audition. So it's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months that nothing, that you haven't even reached the TV stage yet. So this is the massive misconception, because they film the first audition and the second audition for the footage for then the show. So it looks like everyone's queuing up and then everyone's going on stage in front of the judges. It doesn't work like that. They don't just let anybody in front of the judges. They are selected, and I would say probably down to maybe 1,000 people, something like that. So out of the thousands, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, however many people audition, by the time the TV part has started, I'd say you're down to maybe 500 people, because the judges can't sit there for days and days and days on end watching endless, it wouldn't work. You can't see thousands of people. So they are there. I think they started at about 11 or 12, and then they finished at 4. So I'm talking about the judges that were on the X Factor, when I was there. So they work for about 4 hours and see, I don't know, maybe 50 auditions, something like that, or maybe 100, but more likely 50, because then they go to the other locations in the UK. So it's not a very long day for them, even though, I've seen them cut it together where the judges say, oh, we've been waiting all day to see someone good. When's somebody good going to come along? They've maybe been waiting an hour or 2 hours. So yeah, it is obviously just edited in that way to make it look better for TV. Anyway, yeah, long story short, I went along, I went into the audition first of all and walked out. And they then put me through, because I think they liked the fact that I didn't really care and I walked out. So the next audition, I went in and I walked out again. And I think they liked the fact that I was, just being a bit rebellious. So the third audition, I walked out again. I started playing kind of the intro to Johnny Be Good on acoustic guitar, and I walked out again and they put me through again. So I was trying to kind of prove the point that if you just do something stupid, then you will get put through. So I did get through to the TV stages. So it means, yeah, I got to not, and this is the other thing, that at the TV auditions, I knew that I couldn't walk out of the room, because that had been that has just been the schedule that I'd gone to or followed, because they closed the doors behind, and the doors were kind of like security doors where they didn't allow you to come out again until kind of the end of the audition. So I was in that room. So I thought, well, what am I going to do? So I just picked, a random, I think a Robbie Williams song, Let Me Entertain You. And before I went in, I said, what has nobody done yet? And the girl behind the door said, oh, well, nobody's, I don't know, got up on the desk or gone behind the, big statue or the big X, whatever it was. So I said, okay. So I went in there knowing that nobody had done it. So in order to stand out or just be stupid, that's what I had to do. So that's exactly what I did. And then I got to the next stage, and anyway, you could see, if you have seen the auditions, I then just ran out into the crowd and wasn't really bothered about the performance, just being as wild as possible, because at that stage I wasn't really too bothered about going through, because I knew that I'd proved my point about just getting on TV. And there had been hundreds, if not thousands, of really talented musicians who had been told no because they weren't doing anything outrageous enough. And that was my point, that if you put on, a bit of a show, and not even a show, if you act outrageously, you will get yourself onto TV. So, it just kind of, for me, or at least help me to indicate the level of the kind of difference between being a real talent show and being a TV show, that there's that really dodgy line between favouring TV rather than talent. It's just a point that I wanted to make. So anyway, I'm going to call it to a close there with that explanation, but thank you, Barra, for that donation. And this is the other thing, that I could turn that into a Phil tune, definitely. But the other thing is that I made sure that I did my own song on that arena audition. That's at Wembley Arena. So that I got royalties, because I own all of my music and I own my publishing. It means that Simon Cowell has to pay me every time that audition is shown. So it's another thing that I do mention quite regularly. If anybody asks about that on the X Factor, this is why I say make sure you own your publishing, because if anybody for whatever reason wants to use your song, you will get paid for that, because people can't just play it without your permission. So that is something that I have just made sure that I'm in control of everything that I do, not only on this channel, but for me artistically, musically. And thank you, Barra, as well, who has donated $2 and says you answered that quite nicely. Thanks. So no problem. And I think I have mentioned that on the live streams at some point before, but just try and do it briefly is a bit of a challenge. But thank you for that donation. Right. 1:45 here in the morning already. Let's see how the vote is getting along. We have Don't Stop Believing still at 58%. So we might call that to a close relatively soon. And like I said, we have a little bit more to get through tonight with the pictures and the pick roulette. So we have the app roulette as well, but we might still just about be on schedule. But what I don't like is the fact that this PayPal folder in my inbox is now saying 5, so that I know that there have been amazingly 5 more donations, so thank you guys for those, but it's not actually showing them at the moment. So let me just see if I can access it while we are live, doing a bit of kind of refresh. Okay, I think we are. Okay, let me get this up on screen to see if we're back in the game with PayPal. And let's scroll down. Yes, it is Steve who has donated £5. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message is, who are some bands that could play live without auto-tune, pre-recorded tracks and other sound manipulation? For my generation, I'm hearing yes, Genesis, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So thank you for that, Steve. And I mean, talking about bands who could play live without, pre-recorded tracks, auto-tune. I think most I'm talking about bands, like not kind of, saying boy bands. Again, this is something that has changed over the years, because boy bands now means guys just standing up on stage and singing together, but not actually playing the instruments. Whereas back in the day, a band, consisting of boys, teenagers and maybe in the late teens, they could still play their instruments. And, when I'm talking about, bands like the Beach Boys, for example, those guys could play instruments and sing and, do it all at the same time, even though, I think maybe the younger generation now would think of them as a boy band, but they weren't. They were a proper band, but they just appealed to, the teenage audience. And, that's just part of being popular, being in the charts, and having the ability was certainly something that was a given back in the day. You had to be able to accompany yourself, because that was the only way of doing it back then. And as technology started to advance, obviously on TV shows, when TV became more of an outlet for music in the 60s and, 60s, but then early 70s, you then had the ability to have playback. And this was also another thing to look out for. Is quite easy to spot it if you do have a background in music and music production. You can certainly instantly tell the sound of a recorded track, or the track from a record just being played and somebody pretending to sing it. But then also having a track that's played that's just the backing, but having a live vocal. That's something that some shows used to do. And then some shows now and again would allow the band to play live and have a live vocal as well. But I think, yeah, certainly around those times, live performances were plentiful. They were just something that you got all the time. And I would say that pretty much... And I mean, yeah, playback and miming has been around for many, many, many years. And especially, Top of the Pops here in the UK was one of those shows that was just fully mimed pretty much all the time. But everyone kind of accepted that it was. And just the person sometimes would just stand up on stage without even a band and just pretend to sing the song. So that was kind of accepted. But I would say that for proper bands, and as Steve is referring to here, these are guys that I would consider proper bands. Yes, Genesis, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, having the ability to perform live and play their instruments, and everything that they did in the studio, they could then get up on stage and do. So, yes, I would say that proper bands very much played live and would always play live. And actually talking about a recent video that I did on Eric Clapton where they've actually auto-tuned his voice after the live performance that originally wasn't auto-tuned. So that's another thing that's happening nowadays. Interestingly, just remembered a comment somebody said, what's the problem with having a live performance that's live and then auto-tuning it afterwards and releasing it? And for me, I don't then see the point of having a live performance, because then you'd argue, well, why don't you just auto-tune it all the time if when you're then going to watch the performance again, it's now auto-tuned? So I said to the person that commented, effectively what you're saying is, why don't we auto-tune every single performance there's ever been after it was live in order to get it more perfect? And I was trying to explain that that's not art doing that. The artistry is in the standalone performance. At least for me, this is my opinion. For me, the standalone performance that happened on that very night, whenever it was, as it was recorded, that is the art that has been just kind of, recorded. And it's like almost like a time capsule that we can watch it and go back and experience it exactly as it was and hear it exactly as it was back on that day, whenever it may be, even back in the 60s, even all the way, in the 60s, back to Woodstock, for example, all of those amazing performances. Imagine somebody taking all of those performances and auto-tuning the vocal from all of them. For me, that would be sacrilege. That's not what I get from music. That's not what music is to me. It's something that is art and somebody's expression, and as soon as you start messing with that, I think you are messing with the art. It's like getting somebody to paint on a canvas, and once they're finished, you then get a computer to touch it up and change a bit of the picture to what you think is a bit better. For me, that's not the way that art works. So that's just interesting that it kind of ties in with what Steve's saying there. But with auto-tune, that only really became prevalent in the early 2000s because it came along in the late 90s, 1998. So that was the first real use of it. So it started to become then a little bit abused. It wasn't used as a stylistic effect. It was used because record companies thought, oh, hang on, we can get a singer who's not as good and is taking too long to get these songs down in the studio. We can use auto-tune and save money. So that's kind of just the way that it went, because that's the music business, the music industry in a nutshell. Anyway, thank you for that, Steve. Lauren has donated £25 as well. Thank you for that, Lauren. And the message is, just can't help myself. Spike the likes with a thumbs up. So thank you for that, Lauren. And just scrolling up, because Marilyn has donated £10 as well. So thank you for that, Marilyn. The message is, hi Phil and everyone, you're so good at everything. Have you taken computer courses or just learned by research? Gotta go. I'll be in the catch-up crew. Have fun. So thank you for that, Marilyn. And I think for me, I don't know, I've got a brain that just wants to learn how to do everything itself. So computers, video editing, lighting. I think basically everything that I've needed to learn, like production, singing, playing instruments, all these different kinds of things, setting up computers, sound. I've just looked it up. And I mean, the amazing thing is that we have the world's knowledge on a phone now, if you just want to put it into Google, you'll be able to find out how to do anything. And that goes for, you know, mounting guitars on walls, everything. So, you know, getting, you know, because I have a drill and, you know, I do all that kind of thing myself, and just try and figure out how to do it all, because it's something that I like to kind of have the ability to do everything. I think I'm just one of these people that I don't like being held up. So it means that if I'm relying on somebody else to come and fix something, then I think, oh, well, I could just look up how to do it myself and then it'll be quicker. So that's generally, I mean, how I just tend to just address everything in my life, is that if there's something wrong with something, how long is it going to take me to learn how to do it compared to calling somebody to do it for me? And, you know, obviously there are some things that will take a very long time to figure out how to do yourself, and it's quicker to call somebody to do it. But for other things, I just pretty much try and work it out as best I can. But certainly for the things that I want to do, you know, that are music related, video related, live streams, all that kind of stuff, then yeah, I will just sit down and figure it all out and just work out what I need to do. So thank you for that, Marilyn. And just jumping in, because Selena has donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Selena, and that is a straight up donation. And Sue has donated £20 as well. So thank you for that, Sue. And the message is, just stopping in to spike the likes. Have a great evening. So thank you for that, Sue, and for stopping in. Have a great evening yourself. Right, we are going to be jumping into tonight's cover video. Let me stop the vote. Just click on that, and we should get the result for that at the top or at the bottom. Oh, you can see it is going through now. It is Don't Stop Believing that has 58% of the vote. I'm just making sure that is correct, and it is. So thank you guys for voting for, you know, Don't Stop Believing as tonight's cover video. By the way, guys, if you can hit that thumbs up, it'll be much appreciated. 320, we are 5 away from our likes goal, so we're looking for 5 more people in that live chat room to hit that thumbs up in order to secure a pick roulette for next week. But without further ado, let's adieu. I said that a little bit poshly there, but without further ado, let's get into this, my version of Don't Stop Believing by Journey. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys after. Rock!
Town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere.
much for watching my cover of Don't Stop Believing by Journey. The names you can see here are my patrons. Hi patrons, thanks so much for your support and for making videos like this possible. If you want to get involved yourself and if you want to talk to me and maybe suggest some other songs that I can cover, head to this website down here, patreon.com/WingsOfPegasus. And if I don't see you on Patreon, I'll see you at the next video. Have a great day. Rock. And there we have it. So it seems like it was a little bit jumpy, that video. I don't know why that is, but yeah, with the new setup, it's the first time we've looked at that. Interestingly, I actually lost my sound halfway through that. So I think something was going a little bit awry, but I don't know whether we are now a little bit smoother, and it might just, I'm watching the screens and moving my hands to see if I'm actually jumping or not, and whether it's just a live stream thing. It might have just been that video for some reason didn't load properly in the software, and it might just be a case of kind of, you know, tweaking it, because I think that video used to be okay, so maybe it's a frame rate thing. So anyway, thank you for requesting that slightly jumpy version of Don't Stop Believing. I hope you guys enjoyed it, even though, yeah, it was skipping a little bit. Right, I think I'm just going to have a look into the live chat room to see if we have a smooth live stream going. Maybe you guys can let me know in there. I'm just going to continue kind of as normal to see if it's going to be a skipping thing or not, just on the video, or whether the whole live stream is skipping, in which case I might be able to do a reset of the live stream. So if everybody can let me know, that would be good. I can see that, Charlie says video skipping. I'm not sure if that means the actual video skipping or if the whole live stream is skipping. So I will see. And Carla says smooth. So thank you for that. And Donalia says live stream is fine. It was just the video. Good. And Lisa says my sound and video are fine. Okay, well, that's good. It means that it's not a fatal issue. It was just the video and we are still okay. Right. I mean, this is, yeah, the first, I think there was always bound to be something that was going to be a little bit dodgy or a bit of a gremlin thrown in the mix, considering that everything is new. This is only the second live stream. Actually, this is the first live stream where I've had it all set up as I used to have, but with a whole new computer, with different software, without the UX2. This is the other thing that I'm using, my Scarlett interface. So yeah, that has all changed, and it might just, I think that might have just been unlucky. I'll tell you what, I'm going to click on the video again, and we're not going to listen to it again, but I just want to see if it was just the fact that the video is a bit unlucky with when we clicked it. Let's have a look. Yeah, it looks like my keys playing is a little bit jumpy, so it's just going to be that video that we have a problem with, but I'll have to sort that out if we get that requested again in the future. Right, let's get back to business, and we are going to be looking at the pictures, I think. Let me get the background up on screen because I need to go somewhere different in order to grab these. And let me have a look at what we've got going on. First of all, let's have a look at Teresa, and she has a picture of some guy there and the signed Wings of Pegasus pick. So it means that Teresa was a winner of the pick roulette. So congratulations to you, and thank you for uploading this picture as well. And next we have Johanna, who is holding up her guitar, has got a picture of some guy in the background. And I think in the post, Johanna said that she's starting to play the guitar, and It's something that she's always wanted to do, and now she's got around to doing it, which is fantastic. So great to hear that, Johanna, and I hope that everything is going to be, going well on your guitar journey, and that everything, pans out okay. I have said when people are learning to play the guitar, just, take it easy to begin with, use as light as strings as you can do. So, yes, great to hear that you're getting your fingers on the fretboard. Right, I'm just having a little look in the live chat room because maybe playing that video again was a bad idea because we might be getting some skipping going on. So I'm not sure whether this is going to be an issue that is skipping with YouTube or whether, I think we were okay in the beginning. So I'm not sure whether, it's going to be an issue with YouTube or with the software that I'm using at the moment. But anyway, thank you, Johanna, for that. Maybe you guys can hear me talk and it hopefully isn't skipping too much. But anyway, I'm going to show the last picture. Here we have Orlando, and Orlando's down in the gym again, and we're getting some free tickets to the gun show. And you can see that you can use Wings of Pegasus shirts as gym gear as well, but it's just a normal Wings of Pegasus t-shirt worn down the gym. Thank you, Orlando, for uploading this one and getting the Wings of Pegasus word out there. So those are the pictures for tonight. And again, thank you to everybody for uploading those pictures, and Vince for linking me to them as well. So what I'm going to do is keep a little eye on the live stream to see how we're doing, because it looks like it's going a little bit jumpy. And Donnelly says not skipping here. Tammy says all is good on my end. So maybe we're okay. Maybe everything's not jumping too much. It seems like it's a little bit random at the moment. Maybe it's just going through phases. I'll tell you what, because we're going to probably be ending the live stream relatively soon, I'm just going to continue, and if it's a bit jumpy, we'll just have to deal with it and live with it. So hopefully you guys can see me and it's not affecting the viewing experience too badly. Right, by the way, thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. We have reached our target for tonight, but don't type anything in yet because we're going to be jumping into the pick roulette now. Just quickly before we do, Jennifer donated $5. Thank you for that, Jennifer. The message was, "Oh Phil, you pulled my chain. The people who make a mono song into a stereo one, usually they sound like junk. Keep preaching." So thank you for that, Jennifer. And yeah, this is something that happens with the older recordings when they recorded in mono and then they split it up. Yeah, it's usually just the people that are doing the production and trying to kind of create that stereo field with the mono signals. Sometimes, it can sound a little bit worse because now you've got lots of space in the mix, whereas before there wasn't that space, so it meant that you got a lot more of an intimate sound because it literally did sound like it was closer to your ears because you're not hearing instruments in separate positions. You're now just hearing it all mono, straight down the line. So yeah, that can happen sometimes, but yeah, that's just I think there are some people that can do that well, but some people don't do it particularly well, and there are some examples of that. So yes, I know what you mean. Thank you for that, Jennifer. Right, and Marta says your audio and video are almost back in sync for me, tiniest bit off. So there might be a little bit of synchronicity issues going on or some synchronicity issues going on, but yeah, as long as you guys can hear me, I guess that's the most important thing. And if my images are slightly jumpy, then that's just gonna have to be dealt with, unfortunately, before we jump into the pick roulette. I think actually we'll just jump straight into it. It's 1:10 here, so we have to get a little bit of a move on. It's 1:10 in the morning here in the UK, but let's jump into tonight's pick roulette, and I'll see you guys in a second. Rock. So let's get the roulette wheel up on screen, and there it is. And if things are a little bit jumpy, then this roulette wheel, when it spins, is going to look very interesting. So if you guys haven't seen one of these before, if this is your first live stream, then, I mean, hello first of all, but we have the darker segments here on the wheel. These are for the t-shirts, so if we land on one of those, then we're going to have a t-shirt roulette afterwards. But if we land on a name, then somebody's going to go away with the Wings of Pegasus signed pick. Right. Oh, I haven't picked a top tip, but I believe I saw earlier in the chat room Tammy was sacrificing herself, or at least said that she wanted to be the top tip. So it's going to be Tammy who's going to be the top tip, and I can't see her name going around. Oh, there we go. Perfect timing. Tammy Doolittle just going past. So let's give the wheel a spin and see who is going to win. And it's probably going to be spinning and stopping and spinning and stopping and spinning and stopping. So, and yeah, it's not actually stopping. It is spinning. But yeah, on my screen, it is spinning. And we are slowing down. We start to see some of the names as they go through. And I can't see Tammy's name anywhere. I think it's probably gone past. We are slowing down. And is it going to be Laurie, or is it going to get as far as Brooke? And it is Laurie who is the winner tonight. So congratulations to you. If you can let yourself be known to Carla in the live chat room, that would be much appreciated, so that, yeah, she can get your details and get that signed Wings of Pegasus pick sent off to you. And as I always say, you have to be in it to win it. So make sure that you are in the live chat room when we have the pick roulette in order to claim your prize. And I'm just seeing, oh, Brian says audio video gone out of sync a few minutes back, so thank you for that. And I'm kind of hesitant to disconnect and reconnect, considering that you can still hear me. I don't mind too much that it's out of sync, because if I reconnect it and then we actually are then not live anymore and it doesn't reconnect, then maybe we'll obviously have even more of a problem. But anyway, yeah, commiserations to Tammy and everyone else. And yeah, I retain my 0% winning record of having that top tip in the pick roulette. Let me see if I can get everything organised back on screen. I might be out of sync, but it doesn't matter, because what I have to do is show the live chat room up on screen, because the entries are now open for next week's pick roulette, because we've hit the target for tonight. I'm going to type in at Carla Murray and tag Carla in my comment. I'm going to type I agree, exclamation mark, and I'm going to press enter, because I think the last Moises pick roulette, Moises app roulette, I think the last one of those will be happening on Saturday, so we're not going to have another one next Tuesday. So just type I agree and make sure that you tag Carla in order to get your name on next week's pick roulette wheel. So just copy what everybody is doing in that live chat room, and then you'll get your name on that wheel. You see just everybody doing that, and I can see that people are doing that, which is good. It might be a little bit jumpy. Donalia says, oh, well, it's going to go, it's not horribly out of sync, just a bit. It's time to take, oh, and I'm not sure what that said. Maybe it's time to take up ventriloquism, if I could even say it, ventriloquism. Is that the word? I'm not even sure if I'm saying that correctly. Anyway, yeah, so jumpy, out of sync, and maybe not even saying words correctly. So we are ending this live stream not as we mean to go on. I'm not sure whether, I mean, I tell you what, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind here and maybe attempt to do a riff of the week as well. Because I know that this is kind of risking everything. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to refresh the PayPal window just to make sure that it works, because there's been another donation in there, and it is from Laura. So thank you for this, Laura. And let me scroll down. It was a £5 donation. Thank you for that. And the message is, the only part of the screen that's jumping is where the patron names are scrolling. Everything else seems fine. So thank you for that, Laura. And I don't know whether we're in sync now or not. For some reason, it seems like it's more in sync now. And I just refreshed my Chrome browser for the PayPal donation. So I don't know whether that's actually related to anything, but maybe it was just having a problem on that particular browser. You know, when it kind of is trying to load something and then it can't load something and it's a bit confused. So maybe I just should have, well, I didn't know to refresh that, but maybe it's now a little bit smoother. Anyway, thank you for that, Laura. And just going to remove that from the screen. I do have to go into my inbox actually just to get the updated Riff of the Week list, because I think now we're smoother. Well, at least it seems like it's smoother. I'm just going to go ahead with the Riff of the Week. And if you guys can let me know some numbers, I can see that a few of you have started already. So, and I think maybe the feed that I'm looking at is, obviously my feed is in sync because I'm doing the live stream and I'm looking at it and I'm talking at the same time that the video is going through. So I think maybe it's a YouTube thing. So YouTube is out of sync with me and my feed that is going through. I don't know whether I should try and stop this and then start it up again, because I know that obviously I'm in sync with myself. I can see the levels of my audio being a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the live stream and I'm going to reconnect and cross my fingers and see if that actually works and sorts it. So I'm going to keep on looking at the live chat room while this happens. So hopefully I'll see you guys in a second to get So I've just stopped it, restarted. I literally do have my fingers still crossed. So I've restarted and I'm just looking to see if things are going to be in sync, or maybe they're not in sync anymore. Right, let's just see. I mean, this is great. We're having literally an experiment. So let me know if after starting again, it's now in sync or not, and whether it was literally just YouTube that was receiving my signal and messing up the signal. And it seems like we're back in sync, which is great. And I'm kind of tempted to play the Don't Stop Believing video again to see if it was just a YouTube issue rather than what I've got set up. And I won't do that just in case it throws everything off. But we are now back in sync, which leads me to believe, yeah, it's not actually my screens. It's just going to YouTube, for example, the live stream getting sent there, but then YouTube getting the audio quicker than it got the video. I don't know why that happened. Right, we're back in sync, which is great because it means that at least we can listen to a Riff of the Week. Let me get everything organized now to see if we can get that ready to be listened to. Right, let me look at some numbers. 38, Lisa says. So let's consult the Riff of the Week spreadsheet to see, what did I just say? 36? I've just totally forgotten what I said. So have a little look down the list, and 36, I can't remember if that's what I said, but we haven't listened to number 36 yet. So let's have a search for Riff of the Week 36 and get it loaded up. I'll click on the video and I'm going to have to change the screen capture to make sure that we can actually get this on screen. And I don't know whether, maybe, yeah, I don't know whether we're going to have some sync issues or not. But we'll have a listen to this again, hopefully we are fine. I'm just going to click play. Hopefully you guys, let me actually get this on screen so you guys can see it as well. And there it is. And it looked like it was going a little bit jumpy again, but we're just going to listen to this. Then we're going to finish off the live stream. Everything will be fine. And it's a more difficult one to guess. So let's have a listen. And there we go. I think Rocky fans are going to enjoy this one. I've kind of maybe given that away a little bit, but we're just looking for the name of the riff, or should I say the song that those chords come from. So I think with that video it did load for a second, so maybe there's a bit of a conflict with, maybe it's, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause my YouTube feed, because obviously it's sending out my live stream and then the live stream's coming back, so maybe there's a bit of a conflict as to, you know, not having enough bandwidth for it to kind of run smoothly. But anyway, I'm looking at the live chat room to see, let me actually get rid of that. I'm looking at the live chat room to see if there are any guesses going through, and I'm just going to scroll up a little bit to see if anybody did guess. Let me go down a little bit. Maybe that was a little bit early. And Rocker Girl says Dokken, so not Dokken. And oh, I can see that Lisa says No Easy Way Out. So yeah, congratulations to Lisa W in the house. Because yeah, that was the song, No Easy Way Out, and that is on the Rocky soundtrack. And oh, Linda says Rock You Like a Hurricane. So Rocker Girl says nope. And Bill says theme from Life Story. So, and Don't Quit Now, Jennifer says, or maybe she's saying don't quit now with the live stream, but I think we're going to be calling it to a close pretty soon. And just having a little look down because I can't see any other guesses. No Easy Way Out, Billy says. So yeah, not many. It was an intermediate riff, so it's a little bit more difficult to guess. But yeah, congratulations to those two of you, Billy and Lisa W, who got that so far. And I think what we're going to be doing is calling things to a close with the live stream, because yeah, it's kind of a little bit jumpy and we've been working our way through it. We have just about got there. And thank you, Gary, by the way, for that $5 donation. And it says, thanks, Phil. Great show. So thank you for that. Right, let me just make sure that we are up to date with everything. And I think we are. I'm just going to give a quick refresh of everything on the screen over there, and I think that is all fine. So thank you guys for joining me on this live stream. I think we're still going to have a little bit of time just ironing out the details of this kind of live stream setup with my new computer. But yeah, it might just be the case that it could be a YouTube thing that kind of was making it go out of sync. And it seems like with my feed, everything seems smooth and it seems fine, but yeah, maybe it got a little bit lost in translation as it goes up into space and then comes back out of space into your phones or your tablets or your computers, whatever you're watching on. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm going to be releasing another video tomorrow night, and still, yet to jump into that. I think since last Thursday, I've been really focused on getting everything set up with the computer, so maybe a little bit behind with the whole thing. But it looks like I actually forgot that I thought it actually looked like I'd frozen, but I forgot I've paused my live stream. So I just did a quick reset thinking that the live stream wasn't working, but then I remembered it is working, but I've paused my screen, so that's why it looks like I'm stuck. Anyway, let's just ride this wave at the end of the live stream. Yeah, so video coming your way tomorrow night. Not sure what that's going to be yet, but yeah, just getting everything sorted was my focus over the last kind of 3, 4 and probably 5 days. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night. As always, I'm going to be live streaming again on Saturday night, so make sure that you tune in then as well to double your chances of winning the pick roulette. And I mean, if you're watching this on catch up, you can still hit that thumbs up. It really does help this live stream to get out there a bit more and for the channel to grow on the whole. But thank you guys for joining me, and you guys over on Patreon for answering my request for requests to even have some videos to look at on these live streams. So have a great rest of the morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is where you are. Try to stay as safe and sane as possible, if that's even possible in the world that we live in at the moment. But let's just keep on pushing forward and see where we all end up on this crazy journey which we call life. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!